Welcome to Clickly Training Camp. In the second class, we have improved the game experience by adding the interfaces and fixing the camera. Let's start our third lesson today. We are going to design the enemy monsters for our shooting games. We need to complete several relevant operations: enemy's attribute, model, and their hit effect, enemy spawn frequency, set enemy refresh area and create enemy faction, moving direction, and damage. In Clickly, we have abundant resources in the editor. You can choose everything according to your preferences and game style. Let's see how to make the paper pigeon as your enemy model. Enter the object editor, create a new project in the unit section, change the name to enemy in general settings and switch the model to paper pigeon. Select no health bar and set max HP to 3 in the basic attributes. To balance our shooting game difficulty, set enemy HP recovery from 1 to 0 and the player's character attack damage equals to 1. However, if you switch enemy's HP to 1000 and still maintaining character's damage at 1, the game will be unbalanced. Create a hit effect in projectiles. Click New Project and change unit name to Player Receives Damage. Then, pick a particle effect you want in the display list. Next, we are going to decide the spawn frequency of enemies. Let's check out the difference between creating an enemy faction every 1 second and creating every 0.3 seconds. Which one do you think is better? In fact, there is no right or wrong answer for these settings. I think the frequency of 0.3 seconds is more suitable for our shooting game. It makes the game more intense and exciting. Create a new trigger in the editor and rename it to Generate Enemies. Select timer single period elapsed for the new event and set value to 3 seconds. Which means players will enter the combat 3 seconds after the game starts. Next, we create a new action, timer run looped timer. Set immediately execute to true and its flow value to 0.3. Now, the trigger will create an enemy faction every 0.3 seconds. We can determine enemies generated area by checking the coordinates at the bottom map information. In order to let paper pigeons randomly appear in different locations of this area, we need to create a variable to record area information. In variable, set variable, and create a new local variable. Here's a tip for you. Local variables only affect the current trigger, and the global variable can be used in overall triggers. Name it enemy's point. Set it type to point. And choose the convert real number to point. For the coordinate x, set function as random real number in the range, which minimum value equals to -800 and the max value is 800. The coordinate z values equals to -1500. Now, the paper pigeons will only appear within this area. Next, we are going to set variables for the enemy units. Make a new local variable called enemies unit and select function. Unit create unit. This create unit is the enemy we just selected in the object editor, and is the faction belongs to neutral hostile. Make enemy's unit spawn at the enemy's point, and the orientation equals to 0. Next, we're going to use the mover trigger to make enemies fly straight down from the top of the map. Create a new action, mover, linear mover, for enemy's unit with movement. At last, let's set the damage value when a player gets hit by enemies. Now, we have completed all the triggers for the enemy faction in the shooting game. In fact, these parameters we set can be adjusted according to the difficulty of the game. If you're interested, we can modify the triggers by using the knowledge we just learned today, to see what's gonna happen. This is everything we have for our first day lesson. See you next time!